Hi, John Journey. Now today, I'm at Fantasy of Flights, and I'm with Penelope. Now, as you can tell, Penelope is an employee here at Fantasy of Flights, and she knows everything about Fantasy of Flights. Can you give us a brief history?
Well, I'm so glad you're here today, and what we're going to do is show you some of the finest features of Fantasy of Flight. Mr. Kermit Weeks opened the doors to Fantasy of Flight back in 1995, and here we have been blessed to have the world's largest collection of privately owned aircraft.
Now, I understand that you're a wing walker too. Is that true?
It's true. I'm from 1929, and I was a wing walker, and I want to show you my airplane. So whenever you're ready, we're going to step inside.
I can't wait.
Here we are at the beginning of flight. Why, balloons were the first aircraft, and then you're going to see some really beginning aviation aircraft. So hang on. We are in World War I, and they're in the trenches, and we're fighting. Our aviation is fighting in the war, and they have really primitive aircraft back there, and I'm going to show them to you when we get on the other side. Let's go! We are in the briefing room. We're in the briefing room, and we're getting ready to get on our B-17 for our important mission.
Attention, all bombardiers.
Our wonderful B-17. Now, this bomber was the most utilized bomber in World War II in the beginning, and then the B-24 came, and that was the most mass-produced bomber at the time. So, Rosie the Riveter made the B-24, but this is our beloved B-17 bomber.
Well, let's go again.
Okay.
Hi, John Journey. As you can see, I'm going to have a machine gun here inside the bomber. I'm actually what would be called a waist gunner here on the B-17. Now I'm with the pilot and the co-pilot here in the B-17. There wasn't a lot of room in here, and it's amazing what they accomplished during World War II. Well, Penelope, thanks for getting me out of World War II.
You did very good.
And into your, although the B-17 was a blast. So,
yeah.
Now what are we going to see here?
Oh, you're going to see airplanes all the way from, like, the Scout. This was from 1980. It would have been just at the end of World War I, and you're going to see airplanes all the way from that era clear into the Korean War, just before the Korean, all piston airplanes.
Let's go take a look.
Oh, good. Okay, look at this aircraft up there. See the one hanging? It doesn't have any skin on it right now, but that's a standard airplane, and that airplane was actually used in the movie, making of the movie Pepper. And Susan Sarandon was out on that far wing hanging on. Do you remember that? And then she wasn't. Now this airplane was made by a gentleman that works here at Fantasy Flight. Mr. Ken Kellett made this airplane. And this is your Fokker DR1. It's a triplane that the Red Baron flew.
Now, Penelope, what have we got here?
This is awesome. This is a Ford trimotor. Why, back in 1929, Mr. Henry Ford, you know, he's the car guy. Well, he was trying to instill confidence in the public to fly airplanes, general aviation. So the Ford trimotor has this corrugated surfaces on it, and the people would come out and they'd look at that airplane and they'd say, okay, it's got 3 engines and it's got all that metal on it. It must be safe.
Well, let's take a flight.
Okay, let's go.
Well, this is pretty exciting because if you were traveling by air in March of 1929, you might be sitting in a seat on a plane a lot like this. Airplanes have come a long way since 1929.
That's the truth.
Now, Penelope, tell me about these planes because they're gorgeous.
Aren't they pretty? And these are your GVs. And again, this was back in the 30s where they were trying to develop general aviation, and they had all these air racing events. And these airplanes were very successful. Pretty dangerous stuff back in the day, though. Yikes.
Something you gotta see.
Yeah.
So now, Penelope, tell me about this, because this is a beautiful plane.
You have very good taste. This is actually a P-51 Mustang, the C model, and this is done up in the colors of the Tuskegee Airmen. They're called the Red Tails, and they were the black airmen that flew during World War II, and they're just now getting recognized for all the accomplishments that they did. So we're really happy to have our P-51 here done up in their colors.
Penelope, tell me about the Apache Princess. She's beautiful too.
She's very pretty. That's your B-25. Oh my gosh, that is the most wonderful airplane. You know, after Pearl Harbor, we didn't know what we were going to do, how to retaliate properly. Well, that airplane, Mr. Jimmy Doolittle, had that airplane taken off of a carrier deck, and that aircraft went over and bombed Japan in retaliation for the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
Okay, Penelope, what do we got here?
Here's your B-26. They called it the Marauder because it was used over in Tampa Bay as they were training in this airplane. They called it the Widowmaker because this airplane got a reputation of once a day, they'd go one down in the bay every day. So it was quite a handful.
Now we're in the Tuskegee Airmen's exhibit.
Yes, thank you. We have a great exhibit here to honor the Tuskegee Airmen for their flying. And do you know what made them so famous? They were so well loved by the bombers because they would escort them at altitude to fight off the enemy. But one of the good things that the Tuskegee did is that they would never leave the bomber and go off and fight the enemy one-on-one. So they got a very high recommendation. All the bombers wanted to be escorted by the Red Tails because they knew they would be safer.
Let's hear it for the Red Tails.
Yes.
Now, you know, after spending a fun day here at Fantasy of Flights, there's nothing better than coming to the Compass Rose to get some refreshments, something to eat, something to drink.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for our food, tell me a little bit about Kermit Weeks. I mean, what a guy.
Yes, I mean, I have to share that vision that he has for us. You know, he grew up in Miami, and he had a Weeks Museum, Air Museum down there, but unfortunately, Hurricane Andrew had a word to say to him about that. So we were lucky because he moved up here to Central Florida, and this property all used to be a cow pasture. None of this building was here. A lot of people think that it was a previous World War II air training field, but nope, he built it all. And he built this with the plan that it is to light the spark within you. And he hopes when his passion for flying kicked in for him at about age 16 and he fell in love with flying, he went on for 15 years. He not only built his own airplanes, but he competed with the U.S. aerobatic team and represented the United States for many years and has many awards to show his accomplishment. He is a very accomplished pilot. And so he wanted to build this wonderful facility to encourage people to come here and then to look within and see what passion they might have that they should pursue. So he's starting off here at the Aviation Museum, and we're also expanding into other venues.
Well, with that, I want to spark the interest within you. Come on down to Fantasy of Flights, and while you're here, ask for Penelope. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better tour guide at Fantasy of Flights.
Oh, thank you.
Until next time,